I always call you guys Jibu, and I'm going to give black people 5 reasons why they shouldn't move to the UK.
I want to be richer than Jay-Z, my brother, I'm hoping that I would be rich. Isn't so tired of living the way that I live. If I make it, I buy my own crib. They tell me I'm quiet like Gary, I do like a carrot, no Sandy, I'm clapping those cheeks. Then my song will repeat, I'll be running the streets in a year that is by my beast. And I be like, all of these people keep hating on me, I'm like, Chris, everybody hates me. Well, I be like, fuck everybody, I never had anyone willing to help but a G. And now I've got
With reason 1 being that the UK is extremely narcissistic. The majority of the people in the UK are extremely opportunistic, exploitative, dishonest, malicious, selfish, and manipulative. The only people they care about are themselves, and they want everything to solely revolve around them. So you can't trust anybody in the UK. People here are morally subjective. So oftentimes, they usually stand up for what's popular instead of actually standing up for what's right. It only wants you to view the positive side of the UK whilst almost completely ignoring the negative side of the UK. For example, the Nightlifes and the walking tour videos of the UK available on YouTube are all orchestrated. The people are told to behave and look their best for the cameras beforehand. And the reason why it's all orchestrated is to attract more people to the UK to bolster its economy and image. However, when the cameras are off, it's not as nice as it seems. And given how untrustworthy and exploitative people are in the UK, it's arduous to build genuine relationships. And there's an overwhelming amount of narcissistic and cynical people working in professional fields that need a proper mental health diagnosis. The second reason why black people shouldn't move to the UK is because of how unhealthy it is. More and more people in the UK are becoming physically and mentally unwell, indulging in unhealthy habits such as vaping and eating a ton of junk food. And with the likes of social media being a distraction, it's arduous being as fit as you possibly can. So it's no surprise why obesity is on the rise. The third reason why black people shouldn't move to the UK is because there is no freedom of speech. It will penalize anybody that dares to expose the truth about the UK. And if you decide to speak out against the UK, you will have to fear losing the likes of relationships and job opportunities. They will utilize anybody and everybody if they can in order to bring you down and silence you. It's absolutely ruthless, and the law will not be on your side. They don't want black people from the outside of the UK to realize how uncivilized and sickening the UK is. The fourth reason why black people shouldn't move to the UK is because the UK is racist. Despite the UK being the most diverse compared to any other, it doesn't alter the fact that the UK is still racist. The racism in the UK is covert, meaning that people aren't outright racist, but keep their racist thoughts and opinions either to themselves or the people they deem closest to them. I mean, it has been proven that every non-black person is racist. But the reason why racism here is covert is due to its racist history that they've been able to conceal for a long time. The UK was one of the biggest African colonizers and African slave importers that has also treated black people horribly due to the color of their skin. However, the UK doesn't want to take responsibility for the damages it has inflicted upon black people, only paying reparations to the slave owners' families in the UK, whilst they still haven't paid the black slaves that built this country families a penny of reparations. Winston Churchill was in fact a well-known racist to historians, but despite this, he still has a statue up and is regarded as a hero to the nation. And just like how the people in the UK are racist, with black people ultimately having no allies, despite black people here in the UK being categorized as a minority, considering the fact that other race groups don't respect black people just as much as white people here in Britain. It is also systemically racist, as it barely provides black people opportunities to prosper and make money, with white men with criminal records having more of a chance of finding themselves a job than black men without a criminal record. And our black children in these public schools, being taught by predominantly white teachers, aren't receiving a suffice amount of care and attention compared to their white counterparts, as studies conclude that even teachers have a racial bias. The UK is responsible for the black community's demise, as they would smuggle drugs into predominantly black neighborhoods whilst leaving the black citizens jobless and barely providing them any job opportunities, attempting to find any reason to send our people to either prison or mental asylums. They want black people to disappear to completely minimize the chances of black people genetically annihilating specifically the white race, especially considering the fact that the white population in the UK has been on the decline. And the fifth reason why I believe black people shouldn't move to the UK is due to how toxic the black community is. Unfortunately, We have an overwhelming amount of black people supporting the UK, willing to do white people's dirty biddings, ultimately selling us out during the process for their own personal gain, while some willing to truly take a stand for black people. We barely have enough black people investing enough in the black community, and black people overall aren't unified, opportunistic, and lack respect for one another, ultimately making the black community toxic. Now, I completely understand why people will consider moving to the UK, but things are only getting worse. To every black person outside of the UK, try to remain optimistic, strong, and build yourself up as well as the people up as much as you possibly can. Every black person from around the world has my full support, and I believe things will get better for you all over time, especially for my Africans on the African continent, considering the fact that Africa is the second fastest developing continent today. So for the sake of your own well-being and sanity, please do not move to the UK. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, peace, and take care of yourselves and more.